Hey y'all, welcome to or welcome back to our very bookish channel, and we are going to be discussing all the books that we hope to read in the month of May. In the month of May, I have lots and lots of books to read. Actually, I have on my shirt, it says my weekend is booked, and actually my May is booked. Like, if I get to all of these books and maybe even then some, I will be shocked because I have so many to read.
Hey guys, welcome to our TBR for May. I have a smaller pile for this month, and if I have time, of course, I will be reading more. I don't feel like I have been getting to as much in April. Busyness and work take over, and I feel like I got a huge jump on the year with January, February, March. So having not as much time to read in April is okay, because I feel like I've got a lot under my belt for the year so far. So in May, I have a smaller stack, but I'm also going to be leaving one up to fate. Now you'll see what I mean at the end of the video. I'm going to do that one last, and it involves a craft project.
The first book I want to talk about is a book that everyone thinks that I've already read. I won't say everyone, but sometimes I've been talking to people and discussing books, and they'll say, oh yeah, just like in Zodiac Academy. And I'm thinking like, I haven't read that. But it's just kind of like, oh, of course you've read that. Everyone's read these books. So my first book is going to be Zodiac Academy, The Awakening. This is the first book in the series. It is a book I've kind of had on my radar. It wasn't really the top of my TBR, but again, it's a book that I've been wanting to read because so many people talk about it, and they just kind of talk to me about it like they think I've already read it, and I haven't. So we're gonna get into this. And by the way, I found this ebook on Kindle for 99 cents. So I think sometimes what they do with the ebooks is the very first book will be super cheap, free, or like $1, and then the remaining books are full price. So if you read it and like it, you're gonna want to buy the other books at full price. But anyways, this is the first book, and it is only 99 cents. So I prefer to get my books on Nook, which is the Barnes & Noble ebook reader, because I like the fonts better and I like the colors. You can really customize the book when you're reading it, change the colors of the background, change the colors of the text and all of that. But they didn't have this ebook on the Nook. I could only find it on Amazon. So I had to get it.
So starting off in May, me and Amanda have been talking a lot about Frida McFadden and how she has one coming out in June, and we feel we can't wait. I think I might be getting an arc of the new Housemaid is Watching, but until it's physically in my hands, I am not going to hold my breath. We have decided we're gonna do a Frida McFadden vlog in May in anticipation of getting to read her in June. I still have a couple that I haven't read that I had gotten for Christmas. And so we're both, I think she's picking one of these two to read, and then she's going to be reading another Frida McFadden. So we'll have one that's the same, and then the other one will be one that we are reading that's different. I don't know what we're gonna do when we run out of backlist of Frida. So the first one is, and I just saw on the Frida Facebook page how someone was freaking out about how it was such a great twist. So it made me really want to read it. And it's Want to Know a Secret. I don't know what either of these are about right now. If I had read the description when I got them, I don't remember it now, but I really like going into Frida's, especially not knowing. I feel like it's such a fun thrill ride to just be introduced to everything in her books as you go along, and then all the twists happen. And of course she has like all the great twists at the end. So I'm going to be reading Want to Know a Secret, and then the other one I'm reading is Do You Remember? I'm not sure which one Amanda is going to have as the same. I'm running out of space here.
The next two books that I'm going to read are going to be part of a Frida McFadden vlog that we're going to be doing. Yes, she is coming out with a book in June, and we are doing a vlog for her in June as well when The Housemaid 3, I think it's called The Housemaid is Watching, gets released. And then we're also going to be doing another one in October when The Boyfriend gets released. But we are just so excited about the Frida books. We couldn't wait. We wanted to pick 2 books each to read for a vlog in May. So we are both gonna read Wanna Know a Secret. And again, this is a Kindle book that I found for 99 cents on the Kindle app. So I would recommend, if you want to pick that up. I do want to physically own all of a Frida's book. I want to have a physical Frida collection, but since this was just 99 cents and I found it, I just downloaded it right away. I can't find this in the stores yet for paperback, so I don't know if they're going to be redoing the cover or what, but I bought the ebook. And then I also found One by One. I do have a physical copy of One by One that is out in paperback now at stores, so you can get a physical copy of that, but I don't have it right now in front of me for this video, and I'm just feeling it too lazy to get up and go find it and come back. So I'm gonna pop a picture up here, but I am gonna be reading One by One for that vlog, and we are thrilled to get into the Frida McFadden books again.
Then another one that I'm reading this month is actually like a buddy read with 2 friends of mine. We have been wanting to read one together just to meet up and talk about. And at first we didn't know which one we were gonna pick. And then I happened to see one, and it's going to have an M. Night Shyamalan movie coming out. And I feel like, I hope I said his name right. His name is not one I feel like is easy, but it's called The Watchers, and it's by A.M. Shine. I haven't read anything else by this author, so first time coming. It is a horror book, and it's about a woman who breaks down at the edge of this huge forest. And of course, she has to get out of the car and go into the forest. Of course. It's like one of those movies where you're yelling at the person not to go into whatever room or go into whatever situation. So there is something in the woods, and I think that's what the title is from, is The Watchers. But we're going to read this, and then we're actually going to go see the movie to see what we think of it. I'm excited to be doing another horror book. I feel like I haven't had any great horror books this year, so hopefully this one will be a great horror book.
The next book I'm throwing on here is a book that I really am anxious to read. I want to read it so bad, and I haven't read it yet because Jen and I have discussed potentially buddy reading it together or reading it for a vlog, and that is A Fate Inked in Blood. I know you have seen this on our channel before. It's just, I'm not gonna get into it. I know I've already talked about it. It was on a Most Anticipated, and it just came out, I think, in April. I think it just came, no, maybe. I think it came out April. It came out either May or April, okay? So, so it just came out, and I'm dying to read this. In this book, you're following a shield maiden, and I'm just super excited to read about this woman and her quest and the magic, and I hope that we can get to it this month because I'm dying to read this.
Every month we have a secret book that we do for a vlog, and typically it's a theme, but this theme is very general for this month because we have so much on our TBRs right now that we decided to use it to have a secret TBR read. So in this pouch, I have a book that's been on my TBR for, I want to say, at least a year. Pretty sure it's at least a year. And I did have it on a TBR video last year, so it's for sure in one of the videos that I had really wanted to see it. I really love this author, and I haven't done this author yet on one of our videos. And it is a thriller. So those are your clues. And I've been really wanting to read this for a while. So this will, of course, force me to read it since we're doing a vlog with it.
Hey y'all, editing Amanda here. If you're seeing me, it's probably because I'm editing the video and realized that, yeah, I fucked up. And I did. I forgot to mention my secret TBR pick for the month of May. So as Jen mentioned, for the month of May, we decided that our secret TBR pick would be a book off of our physical TBRs because we have so many books on our physical TBR that we need to get to. So the book that I'm choosing for my secret TBR pick is gonna be a fantasy novel. I know no one's surprised. I'm not sure if I have mentioned it on this channel before, but it is a book that I have had on my bookshelves for a while, and I am really excited to get into it. And this is just the perfect opportunity for me to get into this book and kick it off in my physical TBR, because I have probably over 100 books on my physical TBR that I have not read and really need to get into.
And 2 more books on my TBR, but I don't physically have them in my hands because I haven't bought them yet. So Amanda will ever so graciously put them on the screen for me. The first one is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I really like the last few Emily Henrys that I have read. I don't typically read a lot of romance, but she is someone that I really find is humorous. It's very light. It's just an enjoyable read. Kind of how have become a fan of Sophie Cousins. So Funny Story is about Daphne. She always likes when her fiance tells the story about how they met. She ends up moving to the hometown that he grew up in, but they end up breaking up, and she is found alone in this town, and I'm not sure why she doesn't move away, but maybe financial reasons, and she ends up being roommates with the ex of the woman that her ex-fiance left her for. I don't know if you follow that math. So now she's with Miles, and I hope you followed who Miles is. I know it's confusing, but they don't really get along at first either. So it's not like, oh, they suddenly fall in love, but I have a feeling they're going to fall in love. So that's what Funny Story is about. And I will be picking that up since it's coming out this week.
The next book I'm going to read is a book I've already started. I will be finishing it up in May, and it is an ARC copy of The Silver Blood Promise, and the ARC ebook edition doesn't have the cover, so I'm going to pop the cover up here for you guys because the cover is gorgeous. I am loving this cover for a fantasy book. I think it's so pretty, and this book is going to be released on May 7th, so I'm going to try to get this ARC digital edition read and get an ARC review video up for you guys regarding this book as soon as I can, hopefully before the release date, but if not, it should be just shortly after. I am on chapter 6 right now, and I'm really liking the story so far. The writing is very easy to follow. Sometimes when it's a new author to me, I'm always leery about the writing because sometimes the stories can be great, but if the writing's not easy for me to follow, if it's like hard to follow or chunky and I have to go back and reread things to kind of understand what's going on, it can be kind of tedious getting through a book. But this book has been really easy to get through. I'm flying through it. In this book, you're following Lucan, and he is kind of disgraced. He's been kind of, I don't want to say disowned, but he's very distant from his father. He got kicked out of a elite school that he was in, and his father's kind of like had to make penance for him, and he's kind of pushed him out of the household, so he's been living on his own. He gets notified that his father has been murdered, and the last thing his father did while he was dying was he wrote a message, and he wrote it in his own blood, actually. So like his father died because he got stabbed, and while he was dying, he wrote in his own blood a letter to his son, and he reads it, and he is just starting on this adventure of finding out what what his father wanted him to know. His father was investigating something super secretive. He called it an obsession, like his father's obsession. So I think his father like went down some rabbit hole trying to figure something out or discover something, and that's likely what got him killed. So Luke Han is going on this journey to find out what his father knew and who killed his father. And so far, it's turning out so good. This is the first book of a series, so I don't know if it's going to be a duology, a trilogy, a big long series. I don't know, but this is the first book and it's coming out May 7th. So far it's been pretty good, but stay tuned for a full arc review.
And the last book that I'm going to be reading in May that I have on my TBR before I let fate pick another book for me, Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. I've been wanting to read this book ever since I read about it. I haven't read her yet. Everyone has talked about, there's one and I forget it every time I bring it up in the videos, and it has marriage in the title. Why don't I write these things down? Home is Where the Bodies Are is about 3 siblings who are packing up the house because their parents had recently died. And they find a couple VHS tapes. They sit down because they think, oh, nostalgia, let's watch some home movies from our childhood. And they see on the screen their father with a lot of blood, and their mom is in the VHS movie too. And it looks like they were part of a murder. So do they keep digging and finding out what's going on with that, or do they leave well enough alone? I guess I'm going to find out, because I definitely want to read that book in May.
The next book that I am going to read for the month of May is When She Was Me by Marley Bush. This is an audiobook ARC copy of When She Was Me on NetGalley. I saw this on here and it was intriguing to me. So I should be able to get an ARC review for this up for you guys on or around the release date, May 7th. Marley Bush is a new author to me. I don't know if this is her debut novel or not. This is a thriller, and so all I know really about this book is you're following 2 twin sisters that live kind of remotely in a cabin, and they're renting it from landowners that own their cabin and 2 other cabins in the vicinity. One, the guy lived in, and he passed away, and his nephew or his son is coming over to take over the property. And then a vacant rental that they rent out to people vacationing in the area. So you're following these sisters. You don't know why they're in hiding or what's going on. So that's all I know for right now about this, what this book is about. But I'm really excited to get to this book and should be getting an ARC review out soon.
Lastly, when I'm talking about fate choosing my read, me and Amanda usually do most anticipated reads every other month, where we are going over reads that are for 2 future months. And this month that we're in, April, we put out May and June as the most anticipated reads that we really want to read in May and June. But in May, we want to read something that has been on one of our most anticipated videos that we haven't had a chance to get to yet. I feel like that was a very long explanation as to what our most anticipated reads are. But definitely check them out if you don't know what's coming out in the next few months. It is a great way for you to find out what books are coming out. Maybe you'll want to read some of them too. We decided we're going to choose, and I decided instead of just choosing one, because we didn't come up with a theme, like in March we came up with one that had a greenish cover because of St. Patty's Day and spring, and we hadn't come up with one. So I thought, I've been wanting to do a TBR jar for a while, and she said that she had 2. So we decided to do a TBR jar that we would just pick out of the jar to choose which read that we want to do. And I kind of went overboard. I had some supplies and I decided I was going to do it for this. I had anticipated or wanted to do a end of the year review last year and make a little bookshelf that had tiny little books that represented all the books that I had read last year. And I had gotten these tiny little books that I was going to put the covers of all the books I read in 2023. But then I realized I didn't have a color printer. And so I didn't end up doing that, and I had these supplies from that. And I decided I was going to do it for this. And obviously, since I don't have a color printer, that I would just write the names of the books that I haven't read yet from the most anticipated and wrap them around those little books and put them in the jar. But then I went another step and I decided to do a craft project on the jar. So I painted most anticipated TBR jar. And if you see, all the little tiny books have titles wrapped around them in here that I get to choose. And then I had these cute little stickers that I put on the jar. I like the one that has the pulse with the little book, and I didn't fit a sticker on that one. I like the little pill bottle. And then there is also a tarot card that says the TBR. So I had a lot of fun. I was off this weekend and I did a little craft project. And I did a little TikTok too that I can show you right now. It's time for a craft project. Let's go ahead and pick from the TBR jar what is going to be Read in May. I got one. And it's almost like, so this is, I wrapped it completely so you can't even tell what it is, but it's like a book fortune cookie with the fortune on the outside. And I can't get it open. So the tiny little, so I got, and I remember talking about this in Most Anticipated. It's A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. And it's like a retelling of Shirley Jackson's Haunting of Hill House, which is a great pick because I was just talking about horror. So that is a perfect pick. I have two hopefully really great horror books in May read. So that will be my May Most Anticipated read. Maybe using this in the future to pick more reads. I maybe keep adding to this as we do more Most Anticipated reads and just keep adding them to the jar so that I can pick them out.
So I have one more book for the TBR and then two kind of bonus books that I really want to get to if I have time. And I really hope I can get to these. I believe they're going to be fast reads, so I hope to get them done. But I really want to read If Something Happens to Me. Jen's read this book. Arc review was posted already. She said it was a fantastic thriller. So I really need to get to this and The Book of Doors. So The Book of Doors has already been released. It's been on my TBR for forever. I was gifted this lovely art copy and I haven't been able to get to it yet, but I really, really want to. And which leads me to my next pick. These are just bonus, okay? These are just if I can get to it. I'm hoping to get around. I really want to get to these. So these are kind of my bonus books for the month. The next book I want to get to is our most anticipated read. And then this month, Jen had the brilliant idea to do a TBR jar for those books. So I have a jar here. I have some books that I have gone through all of my videos, and for all of the books that I talked about that I wanted for most releases that I haven't read yet, I put on these papers, and they are color coded by the videos that they're in. And then I also chose some of Jen's picks because in some of the videos, they were also on my most anticipated, but I left them out because Jen talked about them and I didn't want to double up and, you know, make the videos longer by me talking about the book than her talking about the book. So I included some of Jen's picks that I wanted to get to, and I have also included some of the arcs that I have that I talked about in my May and June releases that I already have that I need to read. So I'm gonna be putting all of these in this jar, and I also thought it was super fun to maybe leave out a few that I wanted to just go over real quick because there are a few that I am like anticipating even more than the others. So let me get these folded up and put in my jar, and then I will talk about some of the ones that I am really wanting to get more than the others, and we'll see. We'll pick one and see which one I get. Okay, so here is my little TBR jar so far, and here are some of the ones that I really want to read. I'm just going to list them off real quick. Ones that I'm hoping for: The Rabbit Hole by Kate Bodie, Heartless Hunter by Kristen Sierra, Mr. Lullaby by J.H. Markert, The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown, which I just showed you guys. I need to get to that. Hellbent, the paperback release by Leigh Bardugo, Powerful by Lauren Roberts. Now, this one is a novella that has been released, and I mentioned it in my March and April of 2024 most anticipated releases. Now, since this is super short little novella book, if I pick this one, then I will pick another one because this book is just super short and it wouldn't be as fun for a vlog. So I'm gonna pick two if I get this one. Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. I can't wait to read that book. I want to read it so bad. It's a space horror. The Fury by Alex Michaelides. Jen sent me our copy of the book, so I have a copy of that and I need to get to it. If Something Happens to Me by Alex Finley, which is another book I have as my bonus book. And Long Time Gone by Charlie Donnelly. I have an ARC edition of this book and I want to read it so bad. So these are the books that I mentioned in my new release videos that I am really hoping to get one of these. So let me fold these up real quick and put them in the jar, and then we'll pick one and see what I get. I'm kind of nervous, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so I have them all folded up. That one of my most anticipated ones I want to get to, and I'm throwing them in here. We'll just give it a good little mix here, a little shuffle. It'll mix around real good. Okay. Woo! Alright, kind of nervous. I might need to make them smaller. I don't know. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to pick. Alright. It's an orange one, which means it is from January, February of 2024. And it's The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. And this was one that Jen picked. So I am going to be reading The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins, and which is exciting. I do own a hard copy of this book because I found it in my library sale, but it's a large print edition, so the print's really big. The font's really big, but I will be reading The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins in our most anticipated reads video, so stay tuned for that.
So my May is going to look like that. Thanks for watching our May TBR, and until next time.